All right, guys, today we are going to make our collage inspired by Piet Mondrian. So remember, he used primary colors in his artwork. He used blue, red, and yellow in his artwork. So we're going to use those three colors in our artwork. We are also going to use squares and rectangles, just like Piet Mondrian did. So you're gonna get some blue, yellow, and red squares and rectangles. We're also gonna get our glue bottles and our scissors. So first, we're going to create some kind of design with our squares and rectangles on our white paper. And we want our squares and rectangles to kind of almost fit together like a puzzle. So you're gonna kind of like lay out some ones that you like, kind of across your page first. And it's kind of like a city with like roads in between. So these are kind of like the buildings and the white is kind of like roads. Okay, so then I'm gonna take these big pieces that are not fitting on my paper and I'm gonna cut them to make smaller rectangles and squares. You can cut them in half to make two skinny rectangles. There, that fits, and maybe I can fit one right here. Or you could cut them in half the short way and make two squares. Okay, so I think that looks pretty cool. So I'm gonna start gluing them with my glue bottle. So remember, when we glue with liquid glue, we only need one dot in each corner. So we're gonna do dot, 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 just like that. And my dots are very smaller. They're very small. They're even smaller than my pinky nail. So if your dots are smaller than your pinky nail, then you did the right size. Okay, so now I'm gonna take my hands, I'm gonna press them all down. Okay, so now on top of my squares and my rectangles, I can make smaller squares and rectangles. So I can either find ones that are already smaller, like that one fits perfectly, or I can cut them. So maybe I wanna cut a small rectangle like this. You don't have to do this on everyone, but it looks super cool on some of them. And you can also do 3 on one if you want. So I could cut a smaller one and then an even smaller one, and I could stack 3, and that would be so cool. So I'm gonna cut some smaller squares and rectangles and add them to the top of my collage. Okay, so before we stamp our lines with paint, we're gonna flip our paper upside down, and then we're gonna smooth it all out. Okay, so now we're ready to stamp our black lines. Okay, so you're gonna get a piece of cardboard and some black paint. So now we're gonna stamp our black lines in between our squares and rectangles, just like Piet Mondrian did. So you're gonna take the side of your cardboard and just dip it in your black paint like this. So just tap, tap, tap. And then you are going to stamp around and in between these squares. So I could start over here. I'm gonna stamp up, and then I reached a square, so that means I need to turn a direction. So we're gonna keep going and going and going until we have a design that we like. All right, so that looks so super cool. So when you like how your design looks, you can put your artwork on the drying rack and clean up your table.